There's this idea that IELTS is all about British English, maybe because of where it started.
Right.
But here's something interesting. It actually covers all the major types of English.
Yeah.
American, Australian, British, the works.
No, that's a great point to start with.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Today on the Deep Dive, we're jumping straight into the International English Language Testing System.
IELTS. Exactly. And whether you're seriously thinking about IELTS for studying, moving abroad, getting registered professionally, or maybe you're just curious about this really well-known test.
Yeah.
We've basically done the homework for you.
Yeah, we've sifted through a lot.
Yeah.
Think of this as your fast track to getting it. We've looked at the official IELTS FAQs, loads of prep stuff from their website.
Mm-hmm.
Even dug into Reddit, the Routes Guide community, which has some real gems. Plus expert tips, essay structures, all that.
So the goal here is really to pull out the most important bits, make it super clear, and hopefully engaging without you feeling totally swamped by information.
Right. So first things first, what is IELTS fundamentally?
Okay, simple version. International English Language Testing System. It's a huge global test for English skills.
And the backing is pretty impressive, isn't it? It's run jointly by the British Council, IDP IELTS, and Cambridge.
Yeah, those are definitely major players in education. Their involvement really gives it weight, credibility.
So if someone's thinking about taking it, why IELTS specifically? And you mentioned different versions earlier.
Good question. Yeah, there are two main types or modules, academic and general training. And this distinction is super important.
Okay, tell us more.
Well, the academic one is mostly for people aiming for university undergrad or postgrad degrees, or for professionals who need to register to work in an English-speaking country, doctors, nurses, engineers, that sort of thing.
Got it. And general training.
That's generally more for migration purposes, or if you're going to study something below degree level, maybe vocational training.
Right. And a key piece of advice here, this comes up a lot. Yep. If you're even slightly unsure which one you need, academic or general training, you absolutely have to check with the university or the organization you're applying to. Don't guess.
Solid advice. Because IELTS is accepted so widely, right? Governments, universities, employers. Getting the right module is step one.
Definitely. So back to the language itself. You said it covers different Englishes.
Yes, exactly. It's designed to be international. You'll hear different accents in the listening test, see different styles in the reading. It reflects how English is used globally.
And the topics. Do you need to be like a science whiz or something?
No, not at all. The topics are pretty general, things you might talk about at university or just in everyday life. They're picked specifically so you don't need specialist knowledge. It's testing your English, not your expertise in, say, astrophysics.
Makes sense. And it tests 4 skills.
That's right. Listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Each part tests a different skill set.
Okay, let's dive into listening first. What are the crucial do's and don'ts there?
All right, listening. Some key things. First, do. Listen really carefully to the intros for each section. They give you context, who's talking, what about, super helpful.
Okay.
Use the prep time they give you before each part starts. Use it to look ahead at the questions. Know what you're listening for.
Sure.
And read the instructions, especially word limits. If it says no more than 2 words, stick to it.
Right.
A big one. Try to write your answers while you're listening because, and this catches people out, you only hear the recording once.
Wow. Okay. No second chances then?
None. Also, make sure your answer makes sense in the sentence or gap. Don't just throw a word in.
Logical.
Adhere to those word limits. Attempt every question. No penalty for guessing. Check your spelling and grammar. And for the paper test, transfer answers carefully at the end. You get 10 minutes just for that.
10 minutes feels generous, but probably needed under pressure.
It is. Now, the don'ts, don't stress about crossing things out while listening. You might miss the next answer.
Yeah, good tip.
If you miss one, don't panic. Just move on. Focus on the next question. Don't try to rephrase what you hear. Often the answer uses the exact words or synonyms. Definitely don't write more words than allowed. Don't copy words from before or after the gap. Just the answer itself. And only one answer per question, even if you think 2 might fit.
Okay, got it. Is the listening test the same for academic and general training?
Yes, it is. Same paper for everyone. And remember, before each part, they'll tell you the situation, speakers, topic, but it's only audio, so listen up.
Right.
You get pauses to look at questions ahead, recordings played once, questions follow the order of the audio generally.
That helps.
You get brief pauses during and between sections and time to check answers at the end of each section. And yeah, expect a mix of native accents.
And just to be clear, spelling, grammar, word limits, they all matter for the score.
Absolutely.
Huh.
Mistakes there lose marks. Though, good news, both UK and US spelling are usually okay, and sometimes they'll spell out tricky names or words for you.
Okay, let's shift gears to reading. What are the top tips here?
Reading. Number 1, manage your time. 60 minutes total, and that includes transferring answers. Clock watching is essential.
60 minutes for everything. Okay.
Work through it steadily. If a question stumps you, skip it. Come back later if you have time. Don't get bogged down.
Good strategy.
Try to answer everything. Look at titles, subtitles, pictures. They give clues. Read instructions carefully, different question types, different rules. Skimming questions before reading the text often helps. Then read the passage fairly quickly for the general idea.
Get the gist first.
Exactly. Use any dictionary definitions they provide for tricky words. Pay attention to examples in the instructions. Stick to word limits. Copy words accurately, spelling counts. And make sure answers are grammatically sound.
Okay, so what shouldn't you do in the reading test?
Right. Don't read the whole text intensely for every single question. It's inefficient. Learn to scan.
Target the information.
Precisely. Don't go back to the very start for every new question. Answers often follow the text order. Don't panic over unanswered questions. Keep moving.
Easier said than done, probably.
Haha, true. Don't worry about understanding every single word. You often don't need to. And the big one, don't forget to transfer answers within the 60 minutes. No extra time. 0.
Crucial. And only one answer per question again?
Yep, one answer. And you write those answers directly on the answer sheet. Notes on the question paper don't count. Remember, word limits, spelling, grammar all impact your score.
You mentioned 60 minutes. How should people think about splitting that time between the reading passages? Is one harder?
Generally, yes. For the academic test, Section 3 is often seen as the toughest. More complex text, trickier questions. So maybe allocate a bit more time there. Like 20-20 isn't always the best split. Maybe more like 18-20-22 or something like that. You need to practice to see what works for you.
And there's lots of different question types in writing, aren't there?
Oh, yes. You've got true, false, not given testing if something is stated, contradicted, or just not mentioned. Similar is yes, not given, but that's about the writer's opinion. Then, multiple choice could be one right answer or several. Matching tasks are common too, matching headings to paragraphs, finding specific info, matching statements to people, finishing sentences, or classifying information. Lots of variety.
Keeps you on your toes. All right, let's tackle the writing test, the essential do's and don'ts.
Writing do's. First, read the question really carefully. Make sure you answer every single part of it. Follow all instructions, especially word counts minimum 150 for task 1, 250 for task 2.
Time management again, I assume.
Critical. The recommendation is about 20 minutes for task 1 and 40 minutes for task 2, because task 2 is worth more.
Right.
Plan before you write. Brainstorm ideas. Structure it. In task 2, always back up your points with evidence or examples.
And proofreading.
Absolutely vital. Leave time to check for errors, spelling, grammar, clarity. Make sure your ideas are relevant. Use a good range of vocabulary. Avoid repeating words. Develop your points for a balanced answer. Write clearly. Organize into paragraphs. Use linking words. And maintain an appropriate style, usually formal for academic tasks.
Okay. What are the big mistakes to avoid in writing?
Don'ts. Don't write under the word count. It suggests you haven't developed your ideas enough. Don't just copy the question wording.
Paraphrase instead.
Exactly. Avoid using notes or bullet points unless the task specifically asks for it. Don't leave out key information the question asks for. And a big one. Don't use memorized essays. Examiners can spot them, and they probably won't fit the specific question anyway.
That seems risky. Where do you actually write the answers?
On the writing answer sheet they give you, notes on the question paper are just for planning. They aren't marked. Pen or pencil's fine. Just make sure it's legible.
Does capitalization matter? Or punctuation?
Just using all caps isn't penalized on its own, but messy or incorrect punctuation can affect clarity and your score. And again, being significantly under the word count will likely hurt your score because you can't fully develop the topic.
You mentioned task 2 being worth more.
Yes, task 2 counts for twice as much as task 1 towards your final writing band score, so that 40-20 minute split makes sense.
And what about things like introductions and conclusions in task 2? Are they marked separately?
Not as separate items, no. But if they're weak or missing, it definitely impacts your score for task response. Did you answer the question fully? And coherence and cohesion, is it well structured and easy to follow? So yes, they're important for the overall quality.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, final section, speaking. What are the top do's and don'ts for the face-to-face test?
Speaking do's, be ready to answer everything they ask. Listen carefully so your answer is relevant. Give detailed answers. Don't just say yes or no. Expand. For part 2, the long turn, practice speaking for the full 2 minutes. Use that 1-minute prep time while jot down key ideas using the prompts on the card.
Okay.
In part 3, the discussion part, practice using phrases to give yourself a second to think. Like, that's an interesting question. Explain your opinions, give examples.
It makes sense. And the don'ts. What trips people up?
Don't memorize answers. It sounds unnatural, and the examiner needs to hear your real English. Avoid super short answers unless maybe right at the end of part 2.
Okay.
In part 2, stick to the topic on the card. Don't go way off track. Don't worry if the examiner stops you in part 2. It just means your 2 minutes are up.
Ah, okay, that's just timing.
Exactly. Don't try to write a full script on the part 2 card, just notes. Don't stress about making small mistakes. It's normal. You can even correct yourself if you notice one. And definitely don't ask the examiner, was that okay? Or how did I do?
Right, they can't tell you. Can you quickly outline the 3 parts of the speaking test?
Sure. Part 1 is the intro, about 4 or 5 minutes. Questions about your work, study, home, hobbies, general stuff.
Okay.
Part 2 is the long turn. You get a topic card, 1 minute to prep, then speak for 2 minutes.
The one where they might stop you.
That's the one. Then part 3 is a discussion, another 4 to 5 minutes. The examiner asks more abstract questions related to the part 2 topic, more in depth.
Got it. Any other expert tips for speaking?
Yeah, a few. Avoid trying to force in big, unfamiliar words. Use vocabulary you know well. Focus on using a range of grammar accurately. Don't obsess about your accent. Clarity is what matters.
That's reassuring for many people.
Definitely. Pausing to think is fine. Use those filler phrases naturally. Extend your answers, give reasons, examples. Smiling actually helps relax your mouth, might improve pronunciation slightly.
Interesting.
Vary your intonation. Don't speak in a monotone. And practice common IELTS topics. Oh, and remember, just your ID goes into the test room. Nothing else.
And the test is recorded.
Yes, for quality control and potential remarking if needed. And just to reemphasize, memorized speeches are a bad idea. They rarely fit the question. Part 2 topics are everyday things, no specialist knowledge needed.
Can you start speaking before the 1-minute prep time is up in part 2?
Yes, if you feel ready. Notes are optional too. Some people prefer just to think. The 2-minute speaking time is so they get a good sample of your English.
What if you don't understand a question?
Just politely ask the examiner to repeat it or explain. They might be able to rephrase, especially in parts 1 and 3. But yeah, no feedback on your performance during the test itself.
Okay, so you've done the test. Let's talk scores. What does the report look like?
You get a test report form, or TRF. It shows your overall band score, plus individual scores for listening, reading, writing, and speaking, all on a 9-band scale.
And the overall score, how's that worked out?
It's the average of the 4 section scores, rounded to the nearest half band. So you could get a 6.5 or a 7, for example. Band 9 is expert user, down to band 1 non-user. Band 0 means you didn't attempt it.
How are listening and writing scored? You mentioned 40 questions.
Right. 1 mark per correct answer. Your raw score out of 40 is then converted to the 9-band scale. The number of marks needed for each band can vary slightly between tests, but they publish indicative tables.
Okay. And writing and speaking, how are they assessed?
They use detailed criteria for writing. Task achievement, task 1, or task response, task 2, did you answer the question? Coherence and cohesion, is it logical and well linked? Lexical resource, your vocabulary range and accuracy. And grammatical range and accuracy. Remember, task 2 weighs more.
Got it. And
similar criteria weighted equally. Fluency and coherence, speaking smoothly, logically. Lexical resource, vocab again. Grammatical range and accuracy. And pronunciation clarity, not accent.
how long are scores valid for?
Generally, for 2 years from the test date. Institutions might have slightly different requirements, but 2 years is the standard.
Okay, last big area, preparation. What are the go-to resources?
We'll start with the official stuff. IELTS.org has sample tests. The British Council and IDP websites have tons. Writing videos, courses, apps, webinars, even videos of past test takers.
Official books, too.
Definitely. Cambridge English publishes the official prep books, including the Cambridge IELTS series with authentic past papers. Highly recommended.
What about online communities or other resources?
Reddit's RaIELTS guide is pretty active. Lots of shared tips and book recommendations like Cambridge Grammar Vocabulary for IELTS, Oxford Word Skills. People share links to online practice tests, writing feedback sites, webinars.
Any specific websites or channels people mention?
Yeah, names like slfluency.com, IELTS Advantage, and IELTS Simon come up frequently for tips and lessons.
And practicing topics is key, right?
Yeah,
Especially for speaking.
absolutely. Common themes pop up. Tourism, education, transport, environment, family, sports, crime, internet, advertising. Practicing talking about these really helps. A good technique is using mind maps for vocabulary, put environment in the middle, then branch out with related words, pollution, conservation, renewable energy, climate change, etc. Do that for several key topics.
Great practical tip. So to wrap up, it seems like understanding of the test format inside out, knowing what each section demands, and then practicing strategically with good resources, that's the path to success.
That nails it, I think. Understand the test, understand why you're taking it, get familiar with the tasks, and then put in the practice.
Exactly. And when you think about how widely IELTS is recognized around the world,
Mhm.
it really makes you consider, doesn't it? What doors could getting the score you need actually open up, whether it's studying somewhere new, getting that job, or starting a new life chapter through migration.
Mm.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. With all these resources out there, what's just one thing you could do today to get a better handle on IELTS? Or maybe take that first step in preparing if it's on your horizon.
Yeah, definitely check out the official IELTS website, see what's available, tailor it to what you need.
Great advice. Explore those resources based on your own goals.